Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, we find out about a scheme in Hull to help the vulnerable. And we learn more about beekeeping in Lincolnshire. And my newspaper reviewer is Graham Kent, owner and chief instructor from the Anderby Driving Centre. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Emma Lingard. But first it's over to Dan Kemp for the news headlines.
Hello there, the RAF have unveiled their Memorial Typhoon jet. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and the Typhoon has been painted in special colours to honour those who fought in the battle. It's also painted with the 249 Squadron insignia to honour Flight Lieutenant James Brindley Nicholson, the only Flight Commander pilot to receive a Victoria Cross. James Nicholson, a relative of Flight Lieutenant Nicholson, has also honoured at the unveiling.
He's the only member of Fighter Command. There were quite a few VCs awarded during the war, but his was the only Fighter Command VC for the whole of the war. It's a tremendous thrill to be here today, to see the plane in the colours that he flew during the Battle of Britain, and to have his name on the side, of course, and also the Red Devil emblem, which has only recently come to light on the aeroplane as well, as an added bonus.
A local company have made the shortlist to earn a slice of £1 million. Red Herring Games will pitch to Rich, a panel of high-profile business people looking to invest in some of the UK's most exciting startups. Joining Sir Richard Branson and Virgin Media business manager Peter Kelly on the panel will be made of model David Gandy, along with John Oringa, Joe Malone and Justin Roberts. The live finale takes place on June the 26th. Do you fancy getting close to red deer? The Lincolnshire Staunton Estate breeds a red deer herd on its farm in Lincolnshire. It got the idea to take people around on a trailer to get very close to these rarely seen docile animals in their natural habitat. Anthony Strawson, one of the directors of Staunton Estates, explained why people should come to see the deer.
One of the attractions of red deer is they're just such fantastically interesting animals, and that the size alone makes them quite spectacular. So we invested in a trailer last year so that we could get people in and around the field safely so they could see the animals close up.
A local attraction has been recognised with a major award. Grimsby's Fishing Heritage Centre have been given the TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence for the third year running. It celebrates high standards in hospitality, and it's only given to establishments that consistently achieve great reviews on their travel review website. Certificate of Excellence winners include attractions located all over the world that have been continually delivered superior customer experience. That's all from me for now. If you've got any news for us, then don't hesitate to contact us by calling Grimsby 0147231 5553, and that's all for now.
A primary school north of Hull has had an entirely new playground fitted after £40,000 worth of investment. The school says it'll help the children in learning and processing new environments. As you can imagine, the children love it, as I'm sure Richard Morris did.
After a £40,000 investment, this primary school in Hull is already feeling the difference in the happiness of their children. Broadacre Primary School used Eden Outdoor Play, who managed to get the job done and also teach all the children about health and safety and construction within 1 week. As you might expect, the assistant head teacher is thrilled.
Well, before we had the work done, the playground was very bland. It was just a concrete playground. We had some markings on the playground, numbers 10, hopscotch, you know, those very basic things. We had the bikes and other things like that. But it wasn't really a stimulating environment that had cosy corners that promoted communication and language. We now have a water pump and a river and sand, so it's all about those science, maths and English, you know, experiences that we can get out of that. And we wanted somewhere that was stimulating, inviting for the children, and somewhere where the children wanted to be. Children learn in very different ways. Not every child wants to sit at a desk to learn. The youngest children learn through play, so it's about giving them an environment that stimulates that, where they want to be. And most of the children do want to be outside, and they do want to play outside and learn outside and be explorers and investigate, so that was what we did.
Mrs. Ellerington says it's something which any early years educator should provide, as it's so critical that students don't always sit at desks. And the students absolutely love the transition from concrete to a true outdoor play area.
Children love it. On the day that we opened it, they couldn't wait to get out. They all stood out the door saying, me, me, me. Couldn't wait to get out there. And after the initial excitement, the children calmed down and really engaged with the environment and are really using it now. And when you speak to the children, the language, they're talking about one more than one less than, pushes, pulls. They're working together, thinking about how they can fill things up, how many, you know, really exploring all that language, literacy and maths in the outdoor area has been amazing.
You're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we'll be looking at a national scheme to keep the vulnerable safe in Hull. And Dan Kemp will bring you the latest local sports news. Now it's time for our newspaper review, and joining me in the studio this evening is Graham Kent, owner and chief instructor from the Anderby Driving Centre. Welcome, Graham.
Thank you, Emma.
First time on the sofa.
First time. Yeah, where's Graham Norton? I thought it was on the Graham Norton show.
Sadly, no, you've got me.
Oh, okay. George Clooney's on tonight.
Oh, dear. Right, what stories have you found today?
Okay, I've found a few.
Yeah.
I think the first one that affects quite a few people in south of the river. In the Grimsby Telegraph, we've got drivers being warned of the speed cameras now fully operational on the A180.
Right,
so
yes.
we've got a part of the A180 that is got these average speed cameras.
Yeah.
And the speed limit is 50 miles an hour. So it actually says for near Immingham, they're now in action. And that was from Wednesday's Telegraph.
And that's the one at the Brocklesby interchange,
yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Where they're putting that new link road into Immingham.
For Immingham Improvement Service,
As a driving instructor,
yes.
you know, you're teaching people here how to drive.
We are.
Properly, obviously,
of
and to the limit. I mean, do you take them on the motorway at all? Do you do any?
We're not allowed to take them on the motorway at the moment.
Right.
There are plans that the government is looking at that as a scheme that learner drivers should go out on motorways, but only accompanied by an approved driving instructor. Now, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But having said that, what we do is we do take them out on the dual carriageways, which, if you think about it, are a much more dangerous road than the motorways.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons, of course, is if a vehicle breaks down on a motorway, then usually they're able to get on hard shoulder out of the flow of the traffic. If you break down on a dual carriageway, then obviously you're in either lane 1 or lane 2, highly dangerous. And of course, because the dual carriageway is a lot more dangerous for a number of other reasons as well, that's usually a good starting point for them to learn. I mean, we usually save the dual carriageway till the end of the course.
Right.
But yeah, it's more psychological. I think people have problems with motorways.
I can remember my first time going on a motorway. I think my mother had not made me, but we were going to Meadowhall. I was petrified.
Yeah, you would be. Yeah, that's
you
right.
know, I've got to get in this traffic. It would be a terrible
Yeah, it'd be a big thing.
Yeah.
We used to have the Pass Plus scheme. In fact, we still do, but very few people have it. It's what you have is, once you pass your driving test, then the examiners used to recommend that you have the Pass Plus course, which involved, you know, a good part of that was motorway driving. We used to take them out to Meadowhall on the A60, M62 and M1 and stuff like that. So that was really good. But very few people do it now because the incentive with the cheap insurance companies, you know, you to get the cheapest insurance, all you need to do is go on the price comparison websites, and of course they're not going to then offer you a further discount if you have the Pass Plus scheme, you know. So
oh, the minefield of driving.
Oh, it's easy.
It is. Right, moving on. What other stories have you found?
Right, I've, like I said, I found a few. This one affected me a year or two ago. In the Hull Daily Mail again, we've got police warning over bogus Microsoft callers.
Yes.
Now, I was almost stung by this, let's say about a year or two ago, where they phoned me up and phoned through the office, and they got through to me and they said, you got a problem with your software. They sounded very convincing because they gave me a code that looked as though it was just my unique code for that PC. But of course it's every Microsoft PC, it's the same code. And I was almost scammed into giving them my credit card details and et cetera, et cetera. So it's still going on. They infect you with a virus, and so they tell you at the time that that's fixed now, so it's just for a small fee, something like £10 or £15.
Oh, no.
And then of course they phone you back wanting more money when the virus starts doing its work. So
yeah, it is. It's a very bad thing that a lot of people do. I'm going to have to just hold it there for now, but we're going to come back to you shortly. You're watching Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now, a Safe Place scheme was recently launched by Humberside Police. The national scheme is designed to help people with learning disabilities or those who are vulnerable from being bullied or harassed while being out and about. The scheme sees shops display a window sticker, as we find out more in this short film.
Humberside Police and Hull City Council are incredibly proud to bring the Safe Places scheme. What it actually offers us is an opportunity to protect those that are vulnerable in our community or those that really need support whilst they're in public, to find a safe place and ensure that they get the assistance they need.
People inside the premises or shops will receive training so they're aware of what to do and how to respond to people who come and seek help from them immediately.
Someone might need a safe place if they become lost, if they feel bullied, or just if they require assistance or support.
Good morning, sir. Do you need any help at all?
Yes, I'm
You're a little bit lost.
the bus station.
That's absolutely fine, sir. I'm gladly escort you to the bus station.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, sir.
So this is about people who need help, who can actually apply to have a card that has their contact details on it. So if they go into a shop, they can present that card and people know to give them the right support.
If somebody can't find a place of safety and it's not an emergency, then please dial 101 so that they can get a police officer or some assistance. And if it happens to be an emergency, then absolutely dial 999.
Oh, sorry I'm late. What shall we do? Shall we go look around the shops? Yeah, why not? Shall we go for a coffee? Yeah. Oh, I'll get it. Oh no, left my bag.
Well, when in public and walking through places such as this, the shopping centre, we work with the businesses and we give them a logo, a sticker that they can put in their front window. That's a really visible representation to say this is a safe place.
Excuse me, I need your help. I've left my bag.
No problem. Just come with me. Take a seat. Is there anybody that I can ring to help?
The staff within those premises are going to receive training and be aware of the fact that their shop, premise or wherever is going to be a place where people who are vulnerable or distressed can come to.
Hi there, I'm calling from a safe place. I've got Valda with me. She's lost her bag.
Hi, Valda. Okay. What seems to be the problem?
I've left my bag and I don't know where.
We have monthly meetings with our service users, and one of the main issues that comes up is that often they don't feel so secure within public spaces, and so this Safe Places scheme is a particular benefit for them because they feel that they can come out and feel safe, feel that they know that they can go to local businesses, and it's so important that the local businesses get right behind this because it will make such a difference in terms of their feeling of inclusion within society.
If you want to get involved as a business, then please get in touch, dial 101 and ask for the Community Cohesion Officer. We'll work with you to provide the skills so you can truly become a safe place.
From Simple Beginnings, North Lincolnshire's Beekeepers Association tells us they've seen an increase in the number of keen amateurs through their doors. There's been a boom in people starting their own hives, and Erica Barker has been to see what the hobby involves.
A few more bees at the bottom of the garden than some may like, but there has been a rise in the number of people taking up beekeeping as a hobby in North Lincolnshire, and its Beekeepers Association, which supports and advises budding amateurs, says it's a great pastime.
It gives me time because when you're beekeeping, you're just concentrating on your hives, you're concentrating on life in general, and you've time to think and time to ponder, and it's quite a relaxing hobby. It's also quite not as time consuming as you might think. I only look in once a week, maybe a little bit often in this time when we're looking for swarms or patterns for swarms, and there's a bit of transportation and feeding and things like that, but it's not as time consuming as what people imagine.
We are now in the height of swarm season, meaning it's more likely that you will be seeing these colourful insects. Andrew has this advice.
We're in the middle of swarm season at the minute, which is a way that the bees reproduce themselves. If you don't think of the bee as an individual animal, you think as the whole hive as a collective, like a single cell amoeba. The swarm is just the splitting of it, creating two new single cells, and they go on to produce full hives and things. So it's a way of reproducing themselves. Keep calm, and because when the bees swarm, they're actually full of their own honey and produce, because they don't know where the next meal's coming from. So they're actually it's like after a big Sunday dinner, they're all stuffed and happy. So it's not a bad time for them.
So how many hives do you have?
I have 2, but the chap my mentor, he has about 16, so we do about 18 altogether.
And how many bees do you find in a hive?
About 50 to 60,000, but it's broken down quite simply with one queen, 2 to 400 boys, and the rest are all girls, and they're all the workers, I'm afraid.
Bees contribute millions of pounds to the UK economy every year and are responsible for the pollination of around 80% of food products we eat. Under increased threat from pesticides, virus and parasites, it seems in North Lincolnshire they are flourishing. Erica Barker, Estuary TV.
Some very fetching outfits there. Well, still with me in the studio for the newspaper review is Graham Kent. Graham, what else we found? There's something about the Heritage Centre at Grimsby.
Yes, well, yeah, Grimsby Fishing Heritage Centre has just won for the 3rd year on the trot, actually. I didn't realise. It's a TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence.
Right.
So obviously people are voting for it and saying it's a very good attraction. When I read it, it made me think, gosh, I've only been there twice, and the last time I went was about 15 years ago, and it's crazy. You know, I should go again. Perhaps there's been some things changed, but I've asked a few people on the way in just to see if people have been, and they've all been once, haven't they? So I think this is quite common.
Yeah, I think most people do. I mean, I worked there from the very beginning when it opened its doors as a crew member, as the fishwife in Grimsby. And I'm sure the people in the office will say I was suitable for that role.
I wouldn't dream of saying anything like that, of course not.
But most people do, I think
on.
they do. They go once and don't return.
Yeah, that's right, because it's
yeah.
quite natural, but I think I need to have a look at it again.
Go back again, take your wife back.
Yeah, I will. Yes, if she'll come with me.
Oh, right, next story then, what else have we got?
In Hull Daily Mail yesterday's, yes, the Holy Trinity Church.
Okay.
Yeah, the Billy.
It is, their main parish church. King Billy statue.
King Billy statue, that's right, yes. They've got an annual church motor show on Tuesday the 9th of June. And what was particularly interesting is they're going to be giving informative talks from the vehicle owners.
Right.
And what they've said, the cars going along is an Aston Martin, E-Type Jag and a Daimler. So it's 7 o'clock, Tuesday 9th of June, so I'm going to be going to that.
Now, what I find about that church, and if you've never been before, they tend to put on lots of events.
Right, okay.
They had a beer festival not long ago. So it's interesting they've got that motor show as well. I mean, talking about cars, I mean, do you have a love for cars?
Yes, without doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a wide selection of cars, obviously with the company, and but yeah, I love cars. I love driving all sorts. I mean, I've been driving now 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
In fact, I was going to say, you've got a picture here.
That's me when I passed my test.
I'm just going to show this to Cam.
This
is Graham. 40 years ago. Wow.
Yes.
Gosh, look at that. And what car can you remember what car that was?
I can very easily remember, yeah. It's a Singer Vogue, the old Roots coupes, like the old Hillman Humber and Hunters and stuff like that. So you're too young to remember those, aren't you?
Probably.
Yeah.
I can't remember. No, I can't remember. I've heard of a Humber.
Right, yes, but not a Singer Vogue. That was it.
No.
My mate enjoyed it. He called it a Rolls can hardly.
Right.
Rolls downhill can hardly go up them. So that was it, I'm afraid. And it was pretty bad. But it's my first car, so it got me on the road.
Well, there you go.
And I didn't have an accident.
People could probably remember their first cars.
Yes, yes.
I had an Austin Metro, mini
Did
Metro.
you?
Yes, I did.
How did you get on with that?
All right, till one day I got a phone call from the police saying that somebody had been behind me watching the car bounce along and the suspension had gone to take me off the road, and that was it.
Oh, gosh.
I got rid of that one. But I gave it a name. I called it Luby.
Did you?
Because the registration was LBE at the end.
Okay.
You don't name any of your cars?
No, I don't name cars. No, this is a male-female thing, is it? I don't know many.
I don't name cars
I don't think they do.
I don't
them.
name my current ones. I think we've got quick time for one more quick story. What have you got there?
UB40 are coming back to Hull City Hall December the 18th. I went to see Simple Minds at Grimsby, and they were fabulous.
Yeah.
And there's, music events around this area are just great because they're nice, intimate locations, aren't they? So you can really enjoy.
Are. Yeah. We've got some fab music events, I think, coming up, haven't we, in the area?
Yeah.
The Freedom Festival in Hull. There's
that's right.
The Trib Fest, Fake Fest, whatever they call it, in Cleethorpes as well. Fabulous. Well, I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you ever so much for coming in. First time, I'm sure you'll be back. Okay. Thank you. Now it's over to Dan Kemp for the sport news.
In 48 hours' time, we'll know if Hull City will be a Premier League club next season. The Tigers must beat Manchester United on Sunday and hope Newcastle United fail to beat West Ham. City are currently 2 points behind their North East rivals, and the club are looking for a repeat of 2009 when they survived at Newcastle's expense when playing against Manchester United on the final day. Elsewhere, the Grimsby Town goalkeeper has been handed a national award. James McKeown fought off competition from the likes of Barnet's Graham Stack and FC United of Manchester's David Carnell. The 25-year-old was delighted to have picked up the award after keeping 20 clean sheets in all competitions during the course of the season.
The way we sort of set up as a team, where we work hard and work from the front really, and that's sort of a big component of what we do. So it's I have been very lucky at the same time. I've not actually had that much to do this year, so the defence have been great. I've sort of played behind some really good defenders who have gone on to sort of get into the league and made a bit of a name for himself. So obviously there's so much going right there, but I've been quite lucky, like I say. I've not had much to do.
Both our rugby league sides are playing tonight. Hull FC hosts St Helens at the KC, looking to go 4 wins on the spin. Jamie Shaw is expected to return to the lineup, replacing Tom Lynham. Meanwhile, Saints captain John Wilkin will sit the game out due to suspension. Hull KR welcomed James Greenwood on loan from Wigan into the squad for tonight. They travel to Headingley to face the Leeds Rhinos. Both KR and FC kick off this evening at 8 p.m. And that's all for the sport.
Thank you, Dan. Well, that's all we've got time for tonight. Join us again next week for more news. Thank you again to my guest, Graham Kent from the Anderby Driving Centre for first-time newspaper review. And if you have a story for us, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages, details coming on the screen, or you can email us news@estuary.tv or pick up the phone and call Grimsby 01472 315 553. So until next time, goodbye.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Saturday is going to be dry with light winds and long sunny spells, some patchy cloud developing for the afternoon, but feeling quite pleasant in the light winds and a maximum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius. Sunday cooler and breezier with some sunshine and showers after a morning of cloud and rain clears.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.